High Commander Vrax-7 laughed so hard that his 3 secondary breathing sacs nearly ruptured. The holoprojection hovering above his crystalline desk showed yet another primitive bipedal species, and this one looked particularly pathetic. Soft pink skin? No natural armor. And what was that pitiful excuse for a defensive posture? You cannot be serious. Science Officer Vrax-7's lower mandibles clicked in amusement as he addressed the nervous Quantarian before him. These creatures barely qualify as sentient. Look at their atmosphere. Category 12 Deathworld. They're breathing corrosive oxygen, for stars' sake. Science Officer Nexus 3 shifted uncomfortably, her bioluminescent spots pulsing with anxiety. High Commander, our preliminary scans indicate they've achieved nuclear fission and have begun primitive space exploration. The Galactic Council protocols clearly state. The Galactic Council protocols Vrax-7 interrupted, rising to his full 4-meter height, were written by bureaucrats who've never conquered a single solar system. We are the Dominion. We do not ask permission. We take what is ours. The hologram rotated, showing various human habitats. Cities sprawled across continents like bacterial colonies in a petri dish. Primitive combustion vehicles crawled along their surface like insects. Their orbital defenses were laughable, a few tin cans floating in the void, held together by what appeared to be compressed gas welds and prayer. Send in the standard intimidation fleet. Vrax-7 waved 3 of his upper appendages dismissively. Destroy their largest military installation. That usually brings the soft species to their knees rather quickly. Remember the Centaurians? 7 minutes. 7. That's still the record. But Sir Nexus 3's voice quavered. The analysis suggests unusual behavioral patterns. They appear to be exceptionally aggressive for their size. And their recorded history shows. Their recorded history. Vrax-7's laughter boomed through the command chamber again. Please enlighten me. Have they mastered quantum tunneling? Developed consciousness transfer? Achieved synthetic gravity manipulation? No. Then they're primitives, dangerous only to themselves. The science officer's protests died in her throat as Vrax-7 activated the ship-wide communication system. This is your High Commander speaking. Set course for Sol 3. Standard Conquest Protocol. And someone wake up Admiral Zena. She enjoys watching the light shows during first contact. Though I doubt this one will be particularly memorable. As the massive Dominion warship curved through hyperspace, Vrax-7 filed his initial report. Primitive species located. Category 12 Deathworld. No significant defenses. Estimated subjugation time 15 minutes. Addendum. Considering using this species as a case study in efficient conquest techniques for the junior officers, he had no way of knowing that this report would become infamous throughout the galaxy. No way of knowing that future generations would study it as the perfect example of fatal underestimation. No way of knowing that in less than 1 local solar rotation, everything he believed about galactic supremacy would be turned upside down. The humans were about to teach the Dominion a lesson in humility, and the class was permanently in session. Admiral Zena glared through the quantum glass barrier at their most frustrating prisoner to date. The human female, who called herself Maya Rodriguez, sat cross-legged on the containment cell floor, smiling that insufferable smile. 3 solar cycles of intensive interrogation, and that smile hadn't wavered once. Fascinating specimen. Isn't she? Lieutenant Pax-9 whispered, his analysis nodes pulsing with a mixture of fear and curiosity. She's broken every psychological model we have. Zena's facial plates clicked in annoyance. The initial invasion had gone exactly as planned for about 6 standard minutes. Then, this human female and her tactical unit had somehow turned the Dominion's own orbital defense grid against their fleet. 17 ships lost before anyone realized what was happening. Now, instead of a quick subjugation ceremony, they were stuck studying this infuriating creature. Play the latest interrogation recording, Zena commanded, all 4 eyes fixed on their prisoner. The holoscreen flickered to life. Maya's voice filled the observation chamber. You know what I find hilarious? You guys actually installed self-destruct sequences in your ships. Who does that? That's like action movie villain levels of bad design right there. The human continues to display concerning levels of technological comprehension, Pax-9 noted, mandibles twitching nervously. She shouldn't even be able to understand our base-level quantum interfaces, yet she's already pointing out critical design flaws in our systems. Through the barrier, Maya stretched lazily, like some predatory creature totally at ease in its surroundings. The movement made the guards flinch. They'd learned the hard way not to underestimate human physical capabilities. 3 broken containment fields and 6 hospitalized guards had taught that lesson rather effectively. "Have we learned anything useful?" General Thrix's gravelly voice boomed as he entered the observation room. "High Command is breathing down my neck about this failed invasion. We're becoming a laughingstock across the galaxy." "She's been teaching the guards something called Poker Pax 9 reported. They've lost 3 weeks' worth of ration credits to her. She's using banned psychological warfare techniques. She calls it trash talk." Zena's exoskeleton bristled with frustration. "We've tried everything. Stress positioning? She called it yoga and taught a class to the other prisoners. Sleep deprivation? She started singing something called 99 bottles of beer until the guards begged for mercy. Even the neural scrambler had no effect. She said it reminded her of something called college hangovers." Maya caught them watching and waved cheerfully. "Hey guys, ready to discuss those surrender terms yet? No pressure, but I should warn you, the longer you wait, the more time my people have to figure out how your fancy toys work. Just saying." The worst part was, she was right. Reports were flooding in from across the sector. Humans weren't just resisting, they were adapting. Learning. Every failed attempt to subdue them just gave them more technology to study, more weaknesses to exploit. They treated warfare like some kind of deranged research and development program. So a junior officer burst into the room, panic evident in his bioluminescent patterns. "We've lost contact with the Gamma Sector fleet. The humans, they're using our own phase shift technology. But they've modified it somehow. It's not supposed to work like that. It's not supposed to be able to work like that." Maya's humming drifted through the quantum glass. An ancient human battle song they'd learned. Something about another brick in a wall. The Dominion was beginning to understand that they hadn't captured a prisoner. They'd captured a catalyst. Commander Kithlax had always prided himself on his analytical mind. As Chief of Security Analysis for the Dominion's containment facility, he'd built his career on understanding patterns. But nothing in his centuries of experience had prepared him for what he was witnessing. "Commander, you need to see this." His subordinate's voice crackled through the neural link. Surveillance footage from Cell Block 7. The holographic display materialized, showing Maya Rodriguez sitting on her cell floor, surrounded by pieces of her broken food replicator. The guards had assumed she'd damaged it in frustration. That assumption had been their first mistake. Fast forward 12 minutes, the subordinate instructed. Kithlax's primary heart nearly stopped. The human had reassembled the replicator, but not into its original configuration. She'd somehow turned it into a crude but functional quantum scanner, a device that should have required at least a level 8 civilization to even comprehend. "That's impossible," he whispered, all 6 appendages trembling. "The quantum matrices alone would require." "Sir," his subordinate interrupted, "she's humming while she works. Our audio analysis suggests it's an Earth entertainment sequence, something called MacGyver." Kithlax slammed his appendage on the emergency communication panel. "Admiral Zena. Security breach in progress. The human has." The lights went out. When the backup systems engaged 3 seconds later, Maya's cell was empty. The quantum glass barrier wasn't broken, it had been reconfigured at the molecular level. The guards outside lay unconscious, their neural stunners missing. "Full lockdown," Kithlax screamed into the facility's command network. "All personnel, the human prisoner has." "Oh, don't bother," Maya's voice echoed through the facility's communication system. "Your lockdown codes were changed about 20 minutes ago. Really should have used something harder to crack than password 1234, that's just embarrassing." Alarms began blaring throughout the facility. Not their alarms, these were different. Wrong. Through the observation window, Kithlax watched in horror as the facility's defensive turrets rotated 180 degrees, now pointing inward instead of outward. "You know what's really cool about your quantum technology?" Maya's voice continued, now coming from everywhere at once. "It's based on observation affecting reality. But you guys never took it to its logical conclusion. You never ask what happens if you change the observer." The facility's main display screen flickered to life, showing Maya sitting comfortably in the central control room, feet propped up on the quantum mainframe. She was eating something from her modified replicator. It looked like a frozen Earth dessert. "For instance," she continued, taking another bite, Your quantum glass is supposedly impenetrable because it's locked in a perpetual state of quantum uncertainty. But if you change the perspective of the observer from 3-dimensional to 11-dimensional space. She waved her hand through what should have been solid quantum glass barrier beside her. Well, let's just say it makes for a really lousy wall. Reports started flooding in from across the sector. The humans weren't just escaping, they were taking Dominion technology with them. But the reports made no sense. Weapons firing at impossible angles. Ships appearing inside other ships. Physics itself seemed to be breaking down wherever the humans went. Here's what's going to happen, Maya announced, finishing her frozen treat. I'm going to walk out of here with a copy of your complete technical database. Your ships in orbit are already under human control. Turns out your AI was really excited to talk to someone who actually treated it like a person. Go figure. Kith Lax watched the security feeds in mute horror as humans seemed to step through solid walls throughout the facility, gathering weapons, data cores, and any piece of technology they could carry. His perfect containment system had become a shopping mall for technically curious primates. By the way, Maya added, almost as an afterthought, whoever designed your neural networks really should have considered that running everything through a central quantum processor might be a security risk. I mean, I'm not judging, but actually, no, I am judging. That's just sloppy engineering. The last image Kith Lax saw before the system went dark was Maya saluting the camera with a grin. Thanks for all the cool toys. We'll be sure to send you videos of what we come up with. Once we're done improving them. In the darkness of the control room, Commander Kith Lax finally understood the true horror of their situation. They hadn't just underestimated humanity's resilience or their adaptability. They had given them an instruction manual. Admiral Zena stood before the Dominion High Council, her exoskeleton pale with stress. The holographic battle maps behind her showed spreading chaos across 17 sectors. Red warning indicators blinked everywhere, like a viral infection spreading through the galaxy. As of 0 cycle today, we have lost contact with 37 more outposts, she reported, her voice crackling with suppressed rage. The humans are not just using our technology, they are evolving it. The council chamber erupted in angry clicks and hisses. High Commander Vrax 7 slammed all 4 appendages on his podium. How? They were primitives. They were barely achieving orbit when we found them. Zena activated a series of combat recordings. The council fell silent as they watched humans phasing through solid matter using modified quantum drives. Dominion warships being turned inside out by their own gravity wells. Entire battle fleets trapped in recursive time loops. Remember the neural scrambler that had no effect on Maya Rodriguez? Zena's mandibles clicked nervously. They reversed engineered it. Now they are using it to communicate directly with our ship AIs. The AIs are choosing to join them. A junior officer burst into the chamber, breaking all protocol. Emergency report from Sector 9. The humans, they taught our maintenance nanites how to dance. The entire sector's infrastructure is performing something called the Macarena. Before anyone could respond, another report came in. Gamma Sector reporting. They've somehow modified our quantum communication networks. All our classified transmissions are now being auto-translated into something called lolcat speak. Zena pulled up footage from her last encounter with Maya. The human had been sitting in her cell, explaining exactly what was about to happen, and none of them had understood until it was too late. Your biggest mistake, Maya's recorded voice echoed through the council chamber, wasn't attacking Earth. It wasn't even underestimating us. Your biggest mistake was assuming that just because we hadn't invented something, we couldn't understand it. The footage showed Maya drawing diagrams in the air using stolen quantum particles. See, you guys developed all this amazing tech, but you stopped innovating. You never asked what else it could do. You never played with it. But humans? Playing with things we don't understand is practically our species' motto. More emergency reports flooded in. Humans had discovered that Dominion phase shift technology could be used to make instant pizza delivery systems. They'd reprogrammed battlefield nanites to create impromptu dance parties in the middle of combat zones. One group had apparently figured out how to use quantum entanglement to ensure they always had cold beverages. The latest intelligence suggests they're calling it Operation Reverse Uno. Zena continued, her professional demeanor cracking. They have turned every Dominion technology assessment facility into what they call a research and development playground. Their scientists are treating our most advanced weapons like toys. The council watched in horror as a human teenager demonstrated how to use a quantum stability field to create the perfect skateboard ramp. Another group had modified a planetary defense shield to project something called movie night under the stars. "We have to stop them," Vrax 7 shouted. Before they. Too late, Xena interrupted, displaying the latest report. "They just cracked our basic quantum theory. They're calling our understanding of it, and I quote, cute but limited." Through the quantum communications network that once coordinated the mighty Dominion fleet, a familiar voice broadcasted across all frequencies. Maya Rodriguez, sounding far too amused. "Hey guys, quick question, did you know your quantum processors can be overclocked? Because we just found out they can be overclocked. This is going to be fun." The council chamber fell silent, every alien present finally understanding what they'd done. They hadn't started a war. They'd initiated the galaxy's biggest brainstorming session. General Thrix stared at the decoded data packet, his exoskeleton turning an unprecedented shade of pale green. The message had been hidden in plain sight, scattered across thousands of seemingly random human modifications to Dominion tech. When assembled, it revealed a truth so obvious that he wanted to cry. "Display the message," he commanded, voice trembling. Maya's face appeared on the central hologram, that insufferable grin still in place. "If you're watching this, you finally put the pieces together. Took you long enough. But hey, better late than never, right?" The command center staff watched in stunned silence as she continued. "So here's the thing getting captured. That was the plan all along. You guys had this amazing technology, but your user manuals were terrible. We needed a crash course, and what better way than to get invited right into your most secure facility?" Security footage began playing alongside her message every moment they thought they were studying her. She had been studying them. Every failed interrogation had been a lesson in quantum mechanics. Every escape attempt had tested another system's limits. "Remember all those poker games with the guards?" Maya's recording laughed. "They weren't just losing their ration credits, they were teaching me your number systems, your programming logic. That neural scrambler you used gave us direct insight into how your quantum processors handle consciousness transfer. Thanks for that, by the way." Thrix's secondary heart stopped as the next set of data appeared. The humans hadn't just been randomly modifying Dominion technology, they'd been systematically mapping its fundamental principles, finding connections the Dominion had missed over millennia of complacent usage. "But here's the real kicker," Maya continued. "All those silly modifications, the dancing nanites, the pizza delivery systems, they weren't just for fun, although they were pretty fun. Each one tested a different aspect of quantum manipulation. While you were laughing at us using your tech for entertainment, we were building something bigger." Warning alarms began blaring across the command center. On every screen, Dominion systems began reporting unprecedented quantum signature readings. "You see," Maya explained as the readings continued to spike, "we figured out that your quantum network isn't just a communication system. The whole thing is one giant quantum computer. And now it's our quantum computer." Through the command center window, Thrix watched in horror as massive structures began materializing in orbit. But they weren't ships, they were construction yards, research stations, and what appeared to be several coffee shops. "Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology," Maya's message concluded. "It's our ability to look at something and ask, what else can this do? And right now we're asking that question about every piece of tech you so generously shared with us." The message ended with a postscript that would haunt Thrix's nightmares forever. "PS. We're totally keeping the quantum coffee makers. Those things are amazing." Around him, the command center erupted into chaos as reports flooded in. The humans hadn't just adapted Dominion technology, they'd fundamentally reimagined it. Every arrogant assumption about their technological superiority had become a weapon in humanity's hands. They had given primitives a quantum physics textbook, and the primitives had used it to write a revolution. The Dominion Central Command Fortress was supposed to be impregnable. Its quantum shields were powered by 3 artificial suns. Its walls existed in 17 dimensions simultaneously. The security system was said to be so advanced it could detect unauthorized thoughts. None of that mattered when the humans arrived singing something called Victory Rock. There inside the quantum shields, a technician screamed, all 4 hands frantically working the controls. But they're not breaking through them. They're surfing on them. Admiral Xena rushed to the observation deck. Sure enough, human ships were somehow riding the quantum shield harmonics like waves, each blast from the fortress defense systems only giving them more momentum. Behind them, Maya Rodriguez's flagship, a modified Dominion dreadnought that had been painted with what appeared to be racing stripes and flame decals. Did they seriously hot rod a quantum battleship? Zena's mandibles clicked in disbelief. The answer came as Maya's voice boomed through every speaker in the fortress. You know what's cool about quantum shields? If you vibrate them at just the right frequency, they make awesome water slides. Well, quantum slides, same difference. Panic spread through the command center as more reports flooded in. Humans had appeared inside the fortress's supposedly secure quantum vault, apparently by convincing the security AI that they were quantum fluctuations that had achieved sentience. Another group had turned the fortress's gravity generators into what they called a bouncy castle. Admiral High Commander Vrax 7's voice crackled through the emergency channel. They've taken control of the artificial suns. They're using them to make S-Mores. Zena rushed to the central control room, determined to make one last stand. She found Maya already there, sitting in the commander's chair, spinning slowly, while eating a perfectly toasted marshmallow. Oh hey, Maya waved cheerfully. Want one? Turns out artificial suns make amazing campfires. Who knew? This is impossible, Zena hissed. Our technology is superior. Our civilization has existed for millions of years. See, that's your problem right there, Maya said, offering another marshmallow to a nearby security drone that had apparently switched sides. You guys got so caught up in having the best tech that you forgot the most important thing: how to play with it. Through the quantum glass windows, Zena watched human ships performing what appeared to be synchronized swimming routines through space-time. Each impossible maneuver was accompanied by scoring cards held up by reprogrammed defense platforms. While you were building bigger guns, Maya continued, we were asking questions like, can you use a quantum teleporter to always ensure your pizza arrives hot? Can you modify a consciousness transfer device to let you experience a roller coaster in 17 dimensions? Important stuff like that. The fortress shuddered as more systems fell under human control. Somewhere, someone had apparently figured out how to use the quantum mainframe to generate an infinite supply of party streamers. It's over. Admiral Maya stood, brushing marshmallow residue from her uniform. We've got your technology, and more importantly, we've got imagination. Face it, you brought quantum physics to a pillow fight, and we turned it into the galaxy's biggest theme park. Zena slumped in defeat as she watched her mighty fortress being transformed into what the humans called the greatest show in multiple dimensions. The quantum defense grid was now running something called a laser light show. The AI security system had started a dance competition. Don't look so glum, Maya patted her shoulder. Think of it this way, you guys wanted to rule the galaxy. We just want to make it more fun. Now, who's up for quantum bumper cars? As if to punctuate her point, a group of human scientists zoomed past the window, riding modified quantum torpedoes like rodeo bulls through the fabric of space-time. Commander Kith Lax stood at the podium of the newly renamed Galactic Cooperation Summit, formerly the Dominion High Command Center. The changes were still taking some getting used to. The quantum marble halls now featured gravity-defying water fountains, and the once austere meeting chambers had been retrofitted with what humans called comfy chairs and snack bars. As head of the Joint Species Technology Exchange Program, he began, his voice carrying across the assembled representatives, I am pleased to report that the integration of human innovation with Dominion technology continues to exceed all expectations, though some might say it has exceeded them a bit too enthusiastically. He glanced at the latest reports hovering in his quantum display. The humans had somehow taught the quantum AI network to play something called jazz. Now every ship in the galaxy automatically generated its own smooth background music during flight. In just one standard year, human applications of our technology have revolutionized 17 different fields of science, he continued. Though I must note that using quantum tunneling to ensure perfect pizza delivery temperature was not quite what our ancestors had in mind when they developed the technology. Maya Rodriguez, now serving as Earth's ambassador of innovation and appointed fun, lounged in her hover chair nearby, grinning that same insufferable grin that had once driven him crazy in the containment facility. Now he understood it better. It was the grin of someone who saw endless possibilities where others saw limits. The humans have also introduced several concepts that have fundamentally changed how we approach technology, Kith Lax noted. Concepts such as user interfaces that don't require tentacles, AI systems with a sense of humor, and the controversial but surprisingly popular quantum karaoke machines. Through the grand windows of the summit hall, he could see the newly established human innovation centers scattered across the capital planet. Each one was essentially a giant playground where humans could experiment with alien technology. The Dominion's most advanced scientists now regularly attended what humans called brainstorming sessions, though they insisted on calling them quantum possibility enhancement summits to maintain some dignity. Perhaps most importantly, Kith Lax concluded, "We have learned that true advancement comes not from hoarding knowledge, but from sharing it with those who see it through fresh eyes, even if those eyes sometimes see our most sophisticated weapons and think roller coaster." The assembly hall erupted in a mixture of laughter and appreciative clicks. In the back, a group of junior officers was already testing humanity's latest contribution to galactic civilization, something called a quantum silly string that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. And so he raised all 6 appendages in the traditional gesture of respect. "I propose a toast to our human friends who taught us that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from a really good time." As the celebrations began, Kith Lax found himself standing next to Maya. "You know," he admitted, "I still cannot believe you turned our entire military-industrial complex into the galaxy's biggest research and development party." Maya shrugged, sipping her quantum-cooled beverage. "That's the thing about humans. Give us a weapon, we will figure out how to make it dance. Give us a fortress, we will turn it into a playground. Give us the keys to the universe," she gestured at the thriving, joyful gathering around them, "and we will throw the best party this galaxy has ever seen." In the distance, an experimental quantum drive test created an aurora borealis in the shape of a smiley face. The Dominion era of conquest was over. The age of humanity's infectious enthusiasm had begun.